Oh. You know what I've been so fucking confused about? I've always had this sense of more. We need more. I need more. I deserve more. Not from a not from a sociopathic view, but just from the genuine intention of I want more. I want better. I am better. I need to show more so. I need to show I am better. And I keep seeing these ideologies about like you were born enough. You are enough. And that's like kind of like everyone is beautiful. You are perfect the way you were born. That's just kind of like a coping mentality. Like that just tells me I don't want to get red pill, but that tells me you just don't want more. You don't want to be average. Or, I'm sorry, you do want to be average. That's fine. You can be average. I don't give a fuck. Who you fuck doesn't make me come. Your life isn't going to pay my bills. It doesn't matter. But I'm so like confused because I'm kind of sandwiched between those two ideologies. And it's kind of exhausting mentally because on one hand, I'm like, well, it's fine. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to pressure myself. I remember being on the phone with my cousin, and it was right before I signed my contract. And she's a liberal. So she's like, love yourself, you're doing amazing, whatever the fuck. You know, those types of ways of thinking. And that's cool. I don't really give a fuck. She would talk to me, and she would tell me like, you are very privileged. And I say, you're right, I am privileged. But I want more. I am not satisfied. And I would talk to her about like complaining, basically about like, I want a better life, whatever the fuck. And she would tell me, well, all of this is not self-sabotage, but all of this is self-inflicted pressure. No one's making you think like this. No one's making you wake up and think, I need to do great. No one is enforcing those types of thoughts or mentalities onto you. This is all from the guy in the fucking mirror. So it's like you wake up every day and you get upset at yourself for not being at that great position, all because of yourself. This isn't from literally anything else. And I would see that. And I would say, wow, what a privilege that is to be able to inflict pressure, mental pressure, emotional pressure, and get upset about it all in one. What a privilege that is. And it's not that she helped me realize, because I will not give her credits that she helped me realize. I already knew it. She just said it, all right? She tapped it in before the goal. But on another note, I'm seeing a lot of the accept yourself, love yourself, etc. And it's like I'm trying to find a balance between be happy for yourself, be like wow, I did so much, I went through so much to get here, and that's so awesome, that's so cool, celebrate, enjoy yourself. And dude, it is so hard for me to do that. Genuinely, it is so hard for me to like take a breather. I got a fidget cube. I don't know why. It is so hard for me to take a breather and just like slow down. Like, enjoy this. I'm gonna go to China like next week. And I already know during that China trip, I'm gonna be thinking, what can I do next? I'm not gonna be, enjoying the hookers sitting next to me or whatever the fuck. I'm just gonna be thinking on what's next. And, I don't know, this sort of mentality or the way that I think and the way that I impose, I don't know if it's a curse or if it's a blessing. And I really, really, really can't tell. And it's kind of upsetting. It's just a little bit frustrating because you got to take the bad with the good. I got here because I wanted more. I didn't want to go to college, and I basically didn't want to listen to absolutely anyone but myself. And I still only listen to myself. In fact, I barely even listen to anyone ever, even about the smallest things. Someone that could be so, that's a lie. I definitely do listen to other people, but definitely not as much as I should. But even then, I still fucking won't. And that's literally just the way that I am. And I got here because I didn't listen to anyone but myself. I'm happy to be stubborn, but at the same time, it is very incredibly frustrating to be this fucking stubborn. So, going back to what I was saying, to enjoy, like, this kind of reminds me of Kobe. He was, I remember there was a post-game interview, and it was like game 2, the 2-0 in the series and in the championship. And he was like, the interviewer was like, why aren't you smiling? You're 2-0 in the series, or 3-1, whatever the fuck, something like that. I'm not really into basketball. And he was like, what's there to smile about? The game's not done. Job's not finished. And I kind of relate to that extremely right now, because right now I am in the most middle point of like success I feel anyone can be. Like, 6 figures or $250,000. There is like $50K to where it's like you have to ration, you have to be very, very mindful in your spending. And then there's like 200, and then there's like, $500,000 to $1 million. There's that like range, and then it's like complete, like eons apart. You know what I mean? Completely different worries, completely different mindsets. And it's like, once you reach $1 million or that $500,000, roughly around there, it is extremely hard to come down. But in that middle area, like 100K to 250, $250,000, that's when it's like, you're just barely there. And it's like, you can still come down. Your life can still get, toppled over by just some small dumb actions. And it's a little frustrating to be in the middle. Extremely. But at the same time, it's like, I'm so upset that I don't have $1 million yet. Why can't I just sit down and say, good job for what you've done? I remember, like, the second week I had moved in to here. Basic ass apartment. I'm paying like $1,500 in rent. This isn't a penthouse. I'm not in Miami. This isn't a villa in Bali or Italy, whatever the fuck. This is just a regular, nice, good old, technically it's luxury, but it's not luxury. It's just a nice apartment. It is just a simple, nice apartment. And that's great. This isn't the end all be all. This isn't my dream home. So just because of that, I was like, I didn't really care. And I remember the second week, and I had really sat down, and I was just thinking. I was literally just sitting in silence, and I was like, wow. You know what I mean? I remember like roughly a year ago. And I think back to that video where I was just like, wow, I remember, I would think back to that video, and I would say, in the video, I would say, everything sucks, I'm not happy, and nothing's working. I would love for, after you see this video, for me to be in a better life. I would like a better life after this video. And if that Kevin in that video saw me now, he would simply fucking cry because he accomplished what he wanted. Me, a year ago, he accomplished what he wanted. But now that I'm here, it's like, well, there's just simply no level of satisfaction, and I can't put myself in my own shoes. Like, do I need to practice gratitude? What am I lacking or emotionally and mentally to where I can't be content? Like, I feel like I'm never content. I'm never like, okay, now I can chill. And I know I've talked about it a few in other videos, but it's like, it's kind of frustrating. But at the same time, it's not frustrating because at the same time, this level of frustration is what will push me to be great. And everything has a price. This kind of goes back to like Whiplash. Success has a price, and it's whatever you are willing to pay. And there's only two answers. It is enough or it is not. And that's what I've been thinking about recently. So I'm just super between being content. That's all. You look at the average person, and it's like, you know, the average 19-year-old, they're not really fucking doing anything. They're just chilling in college, whatever the fuck, chilling in a dorm room, smoking weed and getting high. Like yeah, I'm objectively, in every way, I am, quote unquote, ahead. I'm not better than anyone, but I am ahead. I am further in life, but I don't feel further in life. If anything, I feel more behind than them. And that pressure is both mentally exhausting and not, because I know that it's going to launch me forward. But during it, shit fucking sucks. You know, like even now I'm recording this fucking video and I'm just thinking like, okay, what am I going to do next? Like I'm thinking about my to-do list for tomorrow. I'm thinking about my to-do list tomorrow, and I'm just like, fuck, this is going to be a pain in the ass, sort of. So it's like, yeah, I don't even know, like, it's just something. That's all. Yeah. Yeah. That's about all I got, boys. I got work to do. Hopefully I can come up with a cool video. I recorded something cool and, you know, cool in my opinion. And I hope you guys enjoy it. It's going to come out in like a week or two. We're going to see how it goes. Might be cool, might be not. Who knows? Hope you guys have a good day. It was a decent week for me. It was alright. Hopefully next week is a little better. A little more productive. You know, then I have the China trip, so I have to basically double everything I'm doing. So while I'm in China, I don't feel like shit about not getting shit done. So yeah, that's about all I got, boys. Month and a half off shampoo. It's kind of chopped, kind of not. I don't know. Hope you guys have a good day. Peace.